Hey y'all, Kyle with Texas Quality Assurance here. Let's talk about the management review. Very common question we get. What is the management review? What do we need to put it in there? When do we need to do it? Why do we need to do it? Lots of good questions, especially considering the internal audit, the management review, and the quality policy, probably the top three things that your auditor is going to look at. Got to make sure you get it right. Let's face it, the management review, if you don't know much about it, can seem kind of like a daunting and confusing task. Well, while the ISO standard is typically very bad about telling you what to do, it just gives a framework and lets you decide. This is one example where we get everything we need really clearly, really simply. So let's take a look at the standard here and see a little bit more about what it says. So what it has here is section or clause 9.3 of the ISO 9001 standard management review. And it says the top management shall review the organization's quality management system at planned intervals. Well, what the heck's a planned interval? Well, a planned interval is when you decide that it needs to be done at least annually and make sure you do it. And you're going to ensure the continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness and alignment with the strategic direction of the organization. That sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So what it really means is we are going to review the management system. Well, what are the key components to your management system? We're going to talk about them. We're going to do it at a planned interval. So you got to decide when to do it and then actually do it. And we're going to ensure the continuing suitability. So what that means is, does this work for us? Is this accomplishing the goals we want to accomplish? Or is this management system cumbersome and ties us down and we feel like we've got ISO as a ball and chain around our feet? Well, if that's the case, hallelujah, you have an opportunity to discuss it openly at least once a year. And then you want to make sure that it's lined up with the strategic direction of the organization. So does this fit the goal of the organization? Does this help you provide the products and services you intend to provide? So it's actually fairly straightforward. I tell people all the time that ISO 9001 is effectively common sense if we asked a lawyer to document it. So once a year, you want to sit down and say, is this working for us? Okay, cool. That's pretty good. So then we want to identify our inputs to our management review. Again, kind of more quality management language here. But this is a fantastic list, guys. I absolutely love the list that they provide here. So if you don't know where to go with the management review, maybe this is the first time doing it, or you're new to the role, or maybe COVID caused so many issues last year that you're almost starting over. Fantastic list here. You could take each letter from this list, create it as the title of a PowerPoint slide. You're good to go. So what are we going to talk about? The status and actions from previous management reviews. Okay, makes sense. What did we do last year? What did we say we were going to do as a result? How did that go for us? Pretty straightforward. We zoomed in too much there for you. Changes in external and internal issues that are relevant to the management system. Pretty straightforward, actually. Did anything change that affects us? Maybe you brought in a new manager this year and new CEO to the company. You think that might have an impact on your management system? Maybe so. Maybe you were like a lot of our customers and had to let go of your quality manager last year because cash flow just, quit flowing. And if anything, seemed to reverse direction. And, so there's a lot of things that can be discussed here. Again, this is opportunity to discuss these things. Put this as the title on that slide on the PowerPoint if you don't know what else to do. Easy way to get around it. So information on the performance and effectiveness of the quality management system, including trends in. So here's a slide with bullet points. Customer satisfaction and feedback from relevant interested parties. Did we piss off anyone this year that we need to address? Did we do really well and make some improvements that our customers are happy with? Could be good things to discuss. The extent to which the quality objectives have been met. So guess what that means, folks? You have no choice. You must gather data on your stated quality objectives and then document how do we do? Did we hit our result? Did we not? You don't have to have hit your targets at the management review. You do not have to go into the management review saying, we did fantastic and great. And you might say, well, hey, Kyle, our auditors, they're going to get mad at us if we didn't hit our goals. It really doesn't matter that much. If you have a plan to achieve them and you can document that you as a management group understand you missed them and here's what we intend to do about it, you're doing great. That's continual improvement, folks. Continual improvement is a huge, huge piece here. Okay, so let's go a little further. The process, performance, and conformity of products and services. Blah, blah, blah. Kind of overly complicated language there. Did you have defects and issues that got in the way of doing what you're setting out to do? Which rolls into our next one here. Non-conformities and corrective actions. Okay, so did we have problems? Did we address them? And the next one is monitoring and measurement of results. So these three are really all kind of together. 3, 4, and 5 here is, did we do what we were supposed to do? Did we have non-conformities and defects? Did we issue corrective actions? And hey, how'd it go? Let's maybe put a couple of charts together. How many non-conformities did we have in a given month? How many non-conformities did we have per project or per man hour? Was one month worse than the others? If it was, great opportunity for a corrective action. We need to discuss audit results, which, guess what, folks, means that you have to have conducted the internal audit prior to the management review. Internal audit is an input, but not the sole, not even the biggest input into the management review. Performance of external providers. Remember, external providers is one of these ISO terms. It's supplier. It's your vendors. Did your vendors meet your needs this year? Did you have problems with vendors? In 2020, with everything that happened with COVID, I'm going to bet you money that probably 20 and 30% of your suppliers went out of business or didn't do very well. Let's discuss it. What impacts did that have on the rest of your business? The adequacy of resources. This is our next slide here. So adequacy of resources. Do we need more training? Great. Hey, 2021 starting to take off. We're doing good this year. Do we need to add some money to a training budget? What do we need to do? Let's discuss these things as you relate to our management system. Next slide. The effectiveness of actions taken to address risks and opportunities. Now, if you guys prescribe to the TQA method of risk-based thinking and identifying risk and opportunities in Clause 6 or Clause 6.4 of the standard, you'll know that if you're doing a good job tracking your nonconformities, you're doing a good job tracking your corrective actions, and you're doing a good job in your project planning, you've already addressed it. So just give a little bit of a summary of how you handle these issues, and maybe even spit out a chart from the data that you've collected of your nonconformities. Of the 242 nonconformities identified throughout the year, only 10 of them had a risk that was above our risk threshold, and we created appropriate corrective actions for those. Of those 10 corrective actions, 6 of them have been solved and the verification of effectiveness completed, and we verified that we've got the risk down to an acceptable level. The others, we're still waiting to see the results. That's discussing risk and opportunities. The flip side to risk and opportunities are, what are some of the fun things that we did this year to improve? What are some of the new ideas we came up with? Did you start providing a new product or service? Fantastic. That presents both risk and opportunities. Let's discuss it. Let's document it and get it on that management review report, which kind of rolls us into the next one. Opportunities for improvement. What do we see as left on the table that we think we could do better at next year? So that's really it, guys. Now, this is going to take some time to put together. It's not something that you can do, just really, really quickly and easily. But realistically, with a day or two of effort, you can prepare this, and you've got the perfect outline. So, my gosh, when the standard gives you the outline to follow, let's use it. This is the single best list and outline in the standard, so don't let it go to waste.